What's up, money growers? So, talking to you guys today about something interesting that was pretty much the polar opposite of what I usually talk about here on this channel. So, as you guys know, a lot of this stuff we talk about on the channel is obviously finance related, credit related, things like that. So, I enjoy that topic. I enjoy helping you guys when it comes to credit cards and talking about getting bonuses and signups and points and ways to maximize your money, maximize your return with, credit cards and things like that. But today we're going to be talking about something different. Today's about why not to get credit cards, okay? And I'm not going to go, full Dave Ramsey on you here, okay? I've actually done his plan before. I had credit cards, then I got rid of them, went on the Dave Ramsey plan. Now I'm like, you know what? You can actually do a hell of a lot with credit cards if you know what you're doing or if you're just willing to learn and you just have some control when it comes to this. So go ahead, hit the thumbs up button. We're going to talk about this today, about why some people, though, should not get credit cards or, why they just may not work for you because they're not necessarily for everyone. Not every financial tool is for everybody. Not every type of investment is for everybody. So let's jump in and see. So people should avoid getting credit cards. If you have these habits or these personality traits or just whatever it is, you should avoid it. Okay. I'll just say that flat out. One, you know nothing about them. All right. You know nothing about them. You've done no research. You don't understand. You haven't really talked to anybody, or maybe you've just gotten some info from other people who really know just about as little as you do. I wouldn't just start jumping in and getting a credit card. Okay. You don't understand the fine print on these credit cards. You don't know anything about credit scores. You don't understand how much a mistake can hurt you long term. You also don't, you're trapped in other debt. Oof, man, it's a big one. We'll talk about that because I've had other debt in the past. You don't have any financial discipline. All right, that's a big one. And it brings more stress into your life. This can really happen. It's more of a side effect. And you just can't see how they actually encourage you to spend more money, which is the whole Dave Ramsey thing. But we'll talk more about that once we get to that point. Now, one, you know nothing about them. Okay, let's just start from there. Everyone is born knowing nothing about credit cards. Okay, everyone's born. No one comes out of the womb with knowledge of how this works. Everybody has to start somewhere. Okay, but you're going to go to the bank and say you're in college, and they're going to ask, "Hey, do you want to get a credit card? Do you want to sign up?" And oh my God, I remember going to Wells Fargo in college. It was like every freaking time I went in there, they were like, "Oh, it shows you're eligible for a credit card." And at the time, I wasn't big on credit cards, and I just kept getting annoyed that they would ask me so much. And I'd be like, "No, I don't want it." And every time, they're like, "Oh, it shows you're eligible. It's a great way to build credit." Yeah, it's also a great way to ruin credit, which both of those are true. So, I mean, I didn't understand them that well. I was just annoyed they kept asking more so. I knew there was risk to it, but they're going to try to get you to sign up, okay? Because again, if you don't know what you're doing with the card, there's a good chance that you're going to have a real high utilization rate. You're going to wind up paying interest, maybe pay late fees, especially if you're in college and you're broke, you get behind. I mean, they want to collect their money. I mean, the banks, they want to do what they can to collect money. So if they can do something like that, and you wind up falling behind, then they're going to make money from you. Now, two, you don't understand the fine print. Ha 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 ha. Here we go. So you'll get charged, you get charged a late fee with your credit card for things like, late payments, return payments, balance transfers. Just kind of depends on the card, like balance transfer fee. So if you're like Navy Federal, hey, you're good on the balance transfer fee part. Foreign transaction fees, that can vary from card to card, company to company. Cash advances. That's the other thing is these things with the fine print, they can change from bank to bank, credit union to credit union. It just totally depends. They're not the same across the board, and they can even change with time with your offer. Like I just did the unboxing for my Chase Freedom Flex credit card. And the fee, I think it's the balance transfer fee or the cash advance fee. One of those two is one amount. It's actually balance transfer. It's one amount for the first 60 days of the account opening, and then after that, it changes for the rest of the account. But if you don't actually look on the paperwork they send you and read that, you're probably not going to know, or if you just didn't happen to notice it maybe when you're applying for the card. But those little changes like that, where that fine print is going to say one thing, and if you don't notice that when you're reading all the fine print on the back, then you could wind up paying some more money, sometimes a little, sometimes a lot. Just depends on the situation. All right, so you don't know how credit scores work or why they're important, okay? Now, these are the 5 main factors that affect your credit score, okay? This is a chart you can find pretty much anywhere online. Okay, and a bunch of videos on YouTube talk about this. So how 35% is just your payment history and 30% is your level of utilization. That's about 2/3 right there. So payment history meaning you make your payments on time. That's the biggest thing. So if you get these cards when you're broke, or you get these cards you're in college and you're broke, or whatever the case is, and your money's tight, and you fall behind on payments, that's the biggest part, and that's really bad. Now, the part that oftentimes follows that is you wind up using more on your card, which is the level of credit utilization. So you'll hear advice of stay under 30%, 20%, that kind of thing for your score. I mean, you just pay it off every month. Just keep it at zero every month before before your cycle's over, and then. Those are two big areas that are big. And then, of course, you have number of credit inquiries, 15%, diversity of your credit, 10, and then age of your credit, 10. So number of credit inquiries is how much like credit you're applying for, whether it's credit cards, loans, things like that. Diversity is like your credit mix. So if you have credit cards plus a car loan, plus a student loan, plus a mortgage, those different types of debt. And then age of your credit is how old, your accounts are, like your credit cards and things like that, like your oldest card, because that all factors into your average length of age. The longer your credit history, then the better. So if you can get a card at 18 years old and you're responsible, and then 20 years you get 38 and you're still responsible with the card and the other cards you've had, you're gonna have a good, strong, long credit history, because for 20 years you've been responsible with cards versus someone who got their first card at 36. All right, 4, you don't understand how much a mistake can hurt you long term. So you got this chart here, this word salad of all the issues and bad things that can happen when it comes to not knowing how something can hurt you. So like a bankruptcy, if you have that can stay on your report for up to 10 years. If you have a late payment, up to 7 years, a charge off, up to 7 years on your credit report. So something bad, if it's bad enough, it's going to hurt you. It will definitely hurt your credit score. And sometimes you can get things removed. Sometimes other things are harder to get removed than others. But either way, you're going to be paying with time and or money to get your credit score fixed, or if you have to wait for them to fall off, you're going to wind up paying again, more so with money if you've got lots of credit issues. 5, you're trapped in other debt. Student loans. Oh God, it's painful. I paid off over $100,000 in student loans in my life. So student loans is one I know what it's like to be trapped in that. Car loan, I've had car loans before, never had payday loans. But any kind of other kind of debt that you're trying to fight off, it's hard to fight those off. And then if you've got credit card debt, fight that off at the same time. Okay, it can be a lot to manage. It can feel very overwhelming, and it can cause a lot of additional stress in your life. Or a scenario where, hey, you lost your job, and then the card issuer is looking at your income when deciding if they want to approve you. And obviously, if your income's not that high, your ability to qualify for a card is probably not going to be as good either. So, that's another just tough situation to be in, where you can see how this problem can snowball big time. If you lose a job, your income gets cut, your hours get cut, you've got other debt you're trying to take care of, plus your credit card debt, it can be a bad road to go down. 6, you don't have any financial discipline. Okay, lack of discipline leads to being broke. Yes, it will. And it can be harder to limit your credit card spending compared to debit card or cash, since you don't need to have the money available at the time of purchase. Exactly. With a debit card, that's Dave Ramsey's whole thing, is he's like, you have cash on your debit card and you spend what you have. Credit cards, you can spend more than what you have in cash on you at the time, but you do have to pay that back. So the whole theory is that it's easier to spend above your means, because you just swipe plastic and you don't feel the pain as if you were paying something over with cash. So that's part of the whole thing of it. They encourage you, they try to entice you to spend more with giving points, with cash back and things like that. So people are like, oh, I'm getting this bonus, I'm getting this, right? They try to focus on the rewards they're going to get with a credit card. So, and marketers know this, companies know this, if they give these rewards, some people are going to be likely to spend more than they normally would. So there's a whole marketing and a whole psychological aspect to this, without a doubt. Brings more stress into your life. So this is just one thing that can happen if you are not good with money or credit cards or things like that. So I remember feeling this when I was in college. This is the first time I noticed this. Was it my first year, second year, something like that in college? And I had several $1,000s saved up in high school before I went to college. And then, I went somewhere away from where I grew up. I was having to take out student loans and that kind of thing. And I remember there was something small that happened. And I was like, I remember thinking, like, it had happened before, either a year before, maybe even when I was in high school. And I remember thinking, it feels so much more stressful this time. But it wasn't something big. Maybe it'll come to me later. But I just remember thinking like, if I had more than like $200 to my name in my bank account, this wouldn't be such a big deal. But when money is low, man, it weighs on your mind. Holy crap. So that additional stress it brings, obviously not good for your life and not good for your health. Also the stress not just on you personally, but on other people around you. So, think of if you said got a boyfriend, girlfriend, if you're married, if you got a family you're taking care of, whether they're your own kids, whether it's, parents living with you. I mean, when money's tight, when bills are tight, when you're in debt and all that stress is going on, that causes stress to other people in your life as well. And they're going to be, feeling that strain in your relationship. So it can be bad. And then, just about everybody probably knows about, number one reason for divorce that you hear the statistic is money fights, money problems, that kind of thing. So again, this just compounds and just snowballs in a negative way in your life. Number 8, you can't see how they encourage you to spend more money. Oh, this is a good one to wrap it up with. So think about points for vacations and flights and things like that, okay? I'm not big on using the points for shopping in portals, flights, hotels, maybe if I've had a flight coming up right away or something and I thought it was worth it. But for the most part, I just like to get the cash back. That's what I typically like to do. So say you do get points though, and you have technically a free vacation or free hotel with all your points. Well, what do people generally do on vacation? It's not just a flight and hotel, but you're also going to buy food. You're going to buy drinks, wherever you're at. You may go see some shows, concerts, entertainment, souvenirs, right? Limo rides, Uber rides. If you're going to a nightclub to party, whatever the case is, you're going sightseeing, you're going to see other tours, right? I mean, I live in Las Vegas. These are all things that are common here. But the same thing, you get it, whether it's to Vegas or some other place, you get your flight and hotel for free. You're probably going to be spending money on other stuff. So even though you spent money and you got that stuff for free, yeah, you did get the vacation part or the hotel and the flight, but you're likely going to spend money on other things. Now, if you've got a really good income and that kind of thing, then, not a big deal. But if you don't, and you don't quite understand that, and you don't see how that's actually getting you to spend more money, then you should probably stay away. And lastly, subscribe. Subscribe, get the little heart there. That's cool. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel, guys. I hope this was helpful to you. Again, not exactly the topic of, hey, get this cool sign-up bonus, and hey, this is going on right now for cash back kind of deal. But this is important nonetheless for people who, just don't understand credit, or that kind of thing. So if you want to learn about credit, hey, subscribe, man, because we got a whole hell of a lot more to talk about on this channel. But tell me what you guys think about this in the comments section. If you guys have any experience doing some of these things, or like I shared my story in college of being broke or that kind of thing, and just the stress it adds to your life, or if you've done some of these things, or if you learned some of these lessons the hard way, I'm sure there are people down in the comments who would absolutely love to hear it. So I appreciate you guys sharing. I appreciate you guys being so awesome. That's going to be it for this video. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow.